I don't think we did.
No.
You ready now?
Yeah.
All right. I haven't felt nervous in a long time.
I know, I'm nervous.
I felt really nervous. I don't know why. Shit off.
Your armpits are sweaty.
Who?
Are you
God.
nervous?
Oh.
You look so calm.
I was like, who?
I have no energy remaining in my body.
Oh, dang.
That's still on Saturday.
He's still high.
Oh shit. Alright, let's go. Yo, cooling out. We back another week. Got the homie Tonia T in the building with us. What's up?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm back.
You like that one, right?
I do, that was clever.
I did.
That was different.
You know.
This ain't my first time doing this. Actually, this is my first time.
This is
I'm experimenting a little. What's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm just working and getting my life. About to release this EP on Friday.
Why are you whispering?
Am I whispering?
I'm looking at your levels.
Oh, my level, is this better?
Let me see.
Can you hear me now, or is it just not recording properly?
Go ahead, Kevin the technician.
No. That's why. Hold on. We're going to try this again.
Okay, we're going to start out perfect.
No, we're not starting. We're going to just keep running. Tonia
okay,
T up in here.
Tonia T.
Hey, you know
Now
what?
you can hear me.
You out here? You see the levels out here?
I do.
Put some treble in it.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is
Put some
really
treble
cool.
in it. I was like, you
Now
flatlining over here. I know you're nervous today.
No.
Speak up.
I'm here.
Good catch, Jarel. Good catch.
You know I try to be engineer rail also.
Right.
But what's up?
Nothing. I'm just here, you know.
You back in the building. You
I'm
back
back. Yeah,
What's
we're
up?
listening to the album this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you
are.
feeling?
How you feeling about it?
I feel good. I'm excited. It's a mixture of excited and nervous, and just the anticipation and seeing what people think, and then getting it out of the way too, so I can start my next project.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm jumping right into it.
Yeah.
Did you? So we all just heard it off last. We heard Lift You Up.
Yes.
Very inspiring track. Are you okay with it? We're gonna put a little snippet on the end of this
Okay.
episode. I'm putting it on wax now, so that people gotta listen.
Yeah, now you have
Don't
no
sue
choice.
us.
You see?
Please don't sue us.
First of all,
That
you
would
got
be
shit.
my management. That would be silly. No, I'm kidding.
But nah. So, did you write that?
Yes, I wrote it.
Look at you. Yes, I did.
I did, you know.
Must
it's me.
Did you write all the tracks on the EP? Or?
Yes. So the EP itself is 4 songs, and I wrote all 4 songs and co-produced all 4 songs as well. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had some talented people working with me to bring the vision to full fruition, and so I'm really proud of the end result.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I'm even more happy with it. It's better than what I even thought it would be. But yeah, I wrote lyrics and melody, and I did have, on Lift You Up, the title track, the song itself, was actually, I did have another co-writer just on the ad-libs and some of the vocal arranging. But the rest of the EP itself was me and one other producer. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's very surprising.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, it's very surprising to hear that because, well, when we first met you, we never heard anything that you had personally wrote.
Right,
You sang a lot of covers and stuff.
Yeah.
So for you to have 4 original tracks
Yeah.
and out the chamber, driving Friday, I'm like,
And New York's done you well.
Yes, yeah, it's putting me through it.
Yeah, how's that been?
New
What,
York,
been 6 months since you were here?
I think it's maybe going on 7. Yeah. New York has been good. It's up and down. It's a big adjustment for me. I have a love-hate relationship with it at the moment. Today I love it. I love it today. It's nice. But I also have been here for the winter. And everyone keeps reminding me, you came here,
It's one of the longest
during,
ones too.
a
Yeah.
really, the sun is never out.
You're from Detroit though.
That's true.
I know,
yeah.
but at least you could be in your car and you have to walk everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
that's
hard
true.
out here. For me, that was a tough adjustment. But I'm excited for New York summer and to see what the different vibe will be like.
Yeah,
It's
you
coming
drop-
one
Yeah,
day.
you
Yeah.
dropping an EP
Okay.
right in time too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right in time for that nice weather.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for this EP? Maybe your plan for the EP. What would you consider to be your sound for this EP?
So my sound for the EP, and it's funny you ask this because this is something I've gone back and forth with, just because in the process of having to put the EP out, you have to be able to classify the genre, and you have to, or or else you won't even be able to get it on Spotify. You know, like it's gotta be placed somewhere. And for the longest time, I was trying to figure out, like, is this straight R&B? Is it R&B pop? Is it soul folk? Like, you know, all the different things. And my sound in general is heavily influenced by so many different genres and styles. I think that it's really showing up in the EP itself. And I would definitely say that it is almost like world music. That's how I would describe it. But according to Spotify and Apple Music, we're putting it under R&B pop.
Okay.
You know, because stylistically I sing R&B,
Yeah.
but like my chord voicings and my style of writing is like pop folk music, and so it's a fusion of all that, including with the production, like the big like drums and I wanted something that felt like very just like hard driving, like you were almost running, like especially for the title track, Lift You Up. And so that's heavily influenced by a lot of different styles of drums. And so that's why I say it's world music too, because it's got a lot, like even the other songs that you guys haven't heard yet, that has a lot of different influences as well. So
A lot of Wakanda forever.
yes, I mean, hey, if that's that works for me.
I ain't gonna lie, when I first like heard this, I was like,
Yes.
I was like, yeah.
Dang, I'm too late for a placement. No.
Nah, you straight.
We got Wakanda too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean Wakanda too.
We got Wakanda.
Wakanda too.
So the EP is 4 tracks. I kind of like want you to just go through each track and kind of explain like, I guess your motivation behind the track, or like what your thoughts were behind each track. Like for example, Lift You Up is very inspiring. How are you feeling when you wrote that track?
So Lift You Up, I actually wrote it I wrote it specifically for a family member, because a family member of mine was just going through a really dark time, like a really tough time, and attempted suicide. Yes, I know that's heavy, but I wrote it for this family member. And that's, if you listen to the lyrics, like that is literally, I wrote it as if it's a letter, like I penned it like a letter. And from there, like originally I wrote this song a couple years ago, actually, and it was no plans on doing anything with it. It was just for, you know, this person that was close to me. And as I would sometimes perform it for people, they're like, I hear something with this. And when I wrote it, it was maybe two keys higher and like 5 times slower. So it sounded like a totally different song, but the same vibe, that inspirational vibe. And, you know, it's taken on a life of its own, like as I've been performing it and recording it. And now, honestly, like I'll sing it for myself. Like it inspires me.
Yeah.
You know, it really is just like a reminder. Like the first words are, "You're enough." You know, like that's something that is a self-affirming thing for me. And I hope that a lot of people will find that to be self-affirming for them as well. And so in general, that's what that song is about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said that, you know, it originally was 2 keys higher, because, you know, on Wax, I was joking with you about that, you know, and that's flat, and I'm like, you know.
But I was not flat.
Surprisingly, C sharp or whatever, you know, you want to say, all right, it just makes more sense.
We gonna let this one slide.
Oh man, so what about the other tracks?
So the other track, so I do have actually another song on there. I believe you guys have probably already heard, because I pre-released it a while ago, Break Everything, and we just remastered it and did a couple different things to it. It's on my SoundCloud.
Okay.
It's called Break Everything. And that song, actually, I wrote about my parents' relationship. And it's called, I didn't write it. That's how I write. I usually write. I try not to focus on me, and more so everything being filtered through me, you know, and just my observations. And so with Break Everything, that's a song that I wrote that I think in 2012, 2010, and I recorded it in 2015 and released it in 2015. Then me and my producer went back in and reworked a few things and remastered it, and we're releasing it with the EP. And I wanted to keep it on the EP because it fit with the theme, which is Lift You Up, is like all the things that I've gone through, like in my life as a songwriter and as a person. Like this is how I express myself, and this is how I it's healing and cathartic for me to write. And so it was a part of the Lift You Up experience for me, you know, like reaffirming, like this is part of my story, you know, this is a song about my parents. It's not the happiest song. The EP is low-key sad, but it's still, it's uplifting in that way. So that's what Break Everything is about.
Okay. Okay, so like the overarching
thing is lift you up. Like it's,
no, but I'm saying just for the song "Break Everything."
So
like,
break everything. What that is about. I mean, so the chorus, I wrote it. The words are, "You can break everything, but please don't break my heart." And so yeah, and like this, it's a story. If you listen to the song, I'm telling a story about. Almost, it's like if you're observing like someone fighting in a room or arguing in a room, or like the feeling you get in a room when there's tension and people are arguing. Like I think we've all been there with our parents probably arguing. You know what I mean? Like I know I have, and that's how. So I wrote about that. That's how I framed the verses, and the chorus is, "You can break everything, but please don't break my heart." Yeah. So yeah.
Tonia T.
No, I'll say I definitely heard that song. That shit is a tearjerker. Yeah.
We need a glass of wine for it.
I mean, yeah.
I need more than that. Get some
download
tissue.
Buy some Kleenex or some Heavenly
Bye.
facial tissue sauce and get some.
I'm gonna take that shit from work.
You know, still
That's
Kleenex. Yeah, that's what the song is about.
All right, track 3.
So track 3 is "Sad Song," which is
Sad song number 3.
That's why I was lifting
Fuck
up.
it, we just gonna do this.
I think I'm having some Drake moments. You
That's
know?
cool. It's cool.
So, and it just gets deeper. So "Sad Song," I wrote that originally about, I was going through like a breakup with myself, or not like a breakup with myself. I was going through a breakup, me. And I was reflecting on how I keep getting in the same situations where I feel like I'm not enough for somebody. Like it's the same feeling of like, okay, it always gets to a point in a relationship where I feel like that person is just, I'm no longer new to them and like perfect and bright and shiny, you know? And I think that happens in relationships where the veil comes down at one point, and the truth shows, and you decide if you want to stay with someone based off of how they truly are. And for me, I was just trying to I cannot seem to be happy in in these relationships. I always get to the point, and I realized because I at the time was diagnosed with depression. Yeah, and I realized what would happen is I would be myself, which was obviously going through some things with mental illness, and the person would not be there for me. It's usually was when that time in the relationship came where it was like, okay, this person obviously is not always happy and always perfect. They usually would shy away. And so "Sad Song" is about that, and the lyrics for that chorus are, "You never loved my trees without the leaves, so when fall came you went away." And that's what I'm saying is when I'm sad, when I'm at my lowest, you can be there. So but that song, even though it is sad, it's sad.
I'm
but
finding
it's
out my
very...
IG pictures.
It's sad, but it's
fire captions.
All my exes.
yes, use it as your captions. But that song it's sad as it sounds.
Jarel looking at a tree.
I cannot right now.
Looking
Deep in the tree, like by the ocean. Can't have my tree without the leaves.
I am tired.
Just letting you know it's gonna happen. So
hey,
be on the lookout. Free promo.
Make sure you tag me.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
There's no fun in stealing shit when I gotta tag you.
I mean, now we got all wet stuff, but they heard it. He's recording.
They did hear it.
Yeah. But that song at the same time that it is sad it's a reaffirming thing as well. It's like I came to a realization, that was for me a big epiphany. Even though it's not the best story, I got something from coming to that realization, and it was like, okay, I need to focus on me and healing, and maybe not rushing into relationships and having expectations for people and putting different expectations on people, because we're all going through shit. And that was a big thing for me. So that's why the song's yes, it's sad, but it made a big difference for me in my life. So
is that a feeling that you have experienced, as far as not feeling not being so
being on the other end of it?
Other end of that, yes, exactly.
Not necessarily. When I'm in relationships and I really like somebody, I'm loyal. I'm like there. I'm like whatever. Like let's work through it. You know, the few times I've had to break up with somebody, it was usually because of some. It was just because it's like okay, it was amicable. It was like we don't work, and I think we know this. You know, like. But for the most part, I get dumped a lot, so.
I'm saying it like that.
But it makes for good writing, I feel.
Yeah, alright. We're gonna put you on the market.
I am.
Okay, turn your music.
From Detroit!
So funny.
You may be joking.
I don't know.
We need content too, so this is good. It's funny.
Just in my water.
She like, do what y'all want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And track 4?
Track 4 is called Home. And this one is my favorite song on the thing. And it kind of pulls everything together for me. So I originally wrote it as a poem, and it was just a poem and saying, it's paying homage to where I come from in a way that's like, okay, I always felt like I didn't have a specific home to go back to because like my parents are divorced and like we moved around a lot growing up, and I never felt like it was like that one place where it's like you can go. But as I got older, like I realized like that home isn't necessarily like a place, you know, like it's a feeling too. Like I feel at home when I'm with my mom, no matter where I am, you know, like I know I can be myself. Like I know I can be myself, and that's that feeling of home to me when I know I can be myself around somebody and I feel like safe. And so I wrote that song about that, and the lyrics for the verse are, you'll never have to question how I feel, you'll never have to go and face the day, alone like it used to be, this love will always remain and you'll always be home. And then just repeats. But like it's a good, like it's a happy song. I think it's a happy song. Like, yeah, the verses kind of just play back like different moments where you can, how things you go through to get to that feeling. So yeah.
How long did it take you to record the EP, to complete it?
To complete it, so last year in January, I had already had Break Everything recorded and done because I had done that song a couple years prior. But last year in 2017, I sat down, I was like, okay, you got these songs, you need to, because the hard, like I know a lot of writers I meet and artists, like it's hard because one, like recording costs money, unless you have a plug or something like that, or like a resource of funding and stuff like that. At the time I didn't, but I promised myself that I was, by the end of the year, by the end of 2017, I was gonna finish the 3 songs that I knew for sure I loved and that were like ready to be recorded. I don't care what I gotta go through, I'll be on a payment plan, I'm recording these. So I started recording last year in January, and throughout the summer finished up a few things, and by August the EP was complete and went into production to be like mixed and mastered by October. And so they all got finished in the fall. So it took a year for me to finish the 3 songs.
And you knew from the start you wanted it to only be 4 songs?
So there was one other song that I wanted to be on it, but as I was kind of getting through like the sound of the EP, I was like, this song, the sound that I am imagining for the song just wouldn't have fit with the theme I came up with. So I was like, oh, this can be saved for another project, because I'm gonna always be like, I'm really, really excited because I'm gonna start getting in the studio in the next couple months and recording my new stuff. And so I'm like, once this is like off my plate and I can just move on from it, I'm gonna start recording. So the one song that was gonna be on it will probably be on the next project. I don't know. I'm kind of keeping it open, like everything's open where it's like, you know, I'm just writing every day. Like I right now have maybe almost 30 songs written. Yeah, and so it's like we gotta pick from these ones, like which ones are really worth like going in and investing like the money to fully produce, you know. And so it's like gonna be a process to get to that decision, but I'm hoping like 12 of them get on the project.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
It seems that you have a focus on like writing all of your music.
Yeah.
And given like today's artistry and industry, where the consumer wants music so frequently, and most artists don't write their own lyrics. So I could see that being pretty difficult, like constantly having to give people, music. But since you have 30 songs on deck,
Yeah,
you can create your own stuff.
Yeah, you can like create your own music that quickly.
Yeah. It's just ever since I've moved to New York, it's been like I'm always writing and thinking of different concepts. It's a lot of inspiration here, but also just getting out of a familiar place, and just something new has given me a new perspective too. So I'm really excited for the next, I'm super excited to release this EP. It's like a child that I need, to release. But I'm really excited for the newer stuff too.
Is this your first one?
So in 2009, I released an EP, acoustic EP of 7 songs. But I took it down because it was on SoundCloud. I released it on SoundCloud and I paid for it myself, like at a really expensive studio. I was in college and I was like, I'm gonna just use this little money I saved up, and I'm gonna just spend it on this. And I'm like, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. But the songs themselves, I took them down because I didn't feel like they're just not strong. So I want to be well represented as a brand, and so I was like, this isn't, they weren't popping or anything, so I took it down. So this is technically my second EP. Yeah.
Okay. In the future, like, do you plan to work with writers, or is it something that you like just see yourself doing on your own, as far as musically?
Musically, I definitely want to write for others, and I am totally open to co-writing. Like, I want to get into that. I just don't really meet a lot of writers that want to co-write with me. Like, they'll co-write, but they usually are, I don't know, I don't get a lot of offers.
Damn, so you can't let people don't fuck with her. I get dumped a lot.
I get dumped a lot.
I start writing, they say, nah, we can't write with her.
Hey, I'm just saying, no. But I tried to co-write once, and this was actually back this past summer. I tried to co-write, and it was just a song that I already started writing, and then the guitar player I was working with, he was like, oh, we should finish it. And I was like, okay, do you have any ideas? Let's just, see what we can come up with. And we came up with some good ideas, but the issue is, and I know this is something that I need to get past, was the song, the original idea I had for the song, I didn't want to let it go. And because it came from in my head and in my experience, he wasn't able to see the perspective.
He wasn't invested in it as much as you.
Yeah, and he was saying things that that wouldn't make any sense with the story I'm trying to tell. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm trying to, and if it's just a off the cuff songwriting thing, co-writing with someone where it's not me coming into something with an idea that I hold really close to me, then I definitely can see myself co-writing. And I think it would be a really good thing, an experience for me. But I don't know how I feel about having someone write a song for me, unless it's a poppin' ass songs and I'm like, oh, I totally can relate to this and I would love to sing it. I don't foresee myself really not having some say in the writing process.
Got you.
Yeah.
So what was your music, in a sense, you would prefer for it to have some relation to you?
Yeah, I do. Because even me as a singer, I like to really be able to connect with what I'm saying when I sing. And there's some songs that I don't like to cover because I'm I don't have a way to connect with this song and I'm just not feeling it, so for me it's important that I can connect and really feel what I'm singing. So, yeah.
How did you, I always have this question, when people make EPs or when they make albums, how did you want to make only 4? I'm sure you had 30 in your chamber. How did you only decide to let 4 out?
I just tell Paco to make an EP.
Right. So, okay, so that's a good question. The way it worked for me, I feel like it's different for everybody. But for me, I was like, okay, timeline. I set a timeline to record a certain amount of songs. And at the time, I didn't have full, because I don't want to go into the studio without a song fully written. And by that, I mean arranged on my guitar, ready to lay the guitar track down, ready to lay the vocal, the chorus down, everything down.
That shit expensive.
It's expensive.
Wasting time.
And I knew that if I went into the studio with half-written songs, which is what I had, aside from these 4 that I have collectively, it would have been drawn on, you know what I mean? I would have been going, so the approach was going into the studio with 4 songs fully written, ready to record, and that these were the 4 that were 100% ready to be recorded, and also fit the same idea for me, you know, like in my mind. So it worked out as far as why I would put just the 4 on the EP. But I think for an EP you can get like, I think it's 7 is the point where it stops being an EP, or 8.
What is the EP called again?
There's like an extended play, so there's the LPs or like the full length albums, which I think is like 8 to however many songs. It's just known in the recording industry. Like it's been that way for a while.
Doesn't LP stand for limited play or something?
I think so.
It makes no damn sense.
It makes, I don't even understand why.
Limited play is more tracks than extended play.
Yeah, that's what doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But so like, you know, for the EP, like it can be, you know, between 3 and 7 songs, and so I was like, okay, well these are the 4. This is, and on top of it, you know, you mentioned in this day and age, like artists need to be putting out content. I haven't put out any of my original music like this ever. Like this is my first, like, yes, I've released my acoustic thing years ago before I was trying to brand myself and be a serious artist. But this is my first big project as a serious artist, and this is what a lot of people that are hearing me for the first time are gonna hear. Yeah. And you know, these 4 songs are, this is it, you know, and I need to get it out there. And if I were to sit and wait for 2 more songs to be finished, I wouldn't have another EP for another 2 years. And so for me, I'm like, nope, I have to cut myself off at some point and have some self-control. You know what I mean?
I mean, I find EPs extremely useful though, because especially like with newer artists, where you don't necessarily have a connection to them yet. It's like my attention span is very short.
Is a blessing.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool, listen to this. So it's like, what, 16 minutes max? I'm like, all right, cool, I can give you 16 minutes. Whereas if I have no connection to you, I don't really know your music. You asking for an hour.
20 songs.
That's a daunting. Yeah.
That's actually good to know, because I never even thought of that.
Yeah, even established. Even established artists like Chris Brown had like, when he went on his little drug binge and had
75.
Oh yeah, was it 75 tracks?
It was like 40 something. I don't know, but when I saw it, I just said, I'm not listening to this. No, that's real. I said,
it's a handful of artists. One hand, probably.
Yeah, where you can have that many tracks and like people were just like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this. Like, I think it's smart for you to stay within the EP range. Yeah. You know, until you build your listeners.
For sure, and that's what I want. I need listeners, and I also am experimenting too. Still, like the sounds of the EP. What I like about it only being 4 songs is I don't feel that it's necessarily married to a full sound. You know what I mean? Like if I were to release 12 songs that were all clearly a certain style, I feel like people would be expecting that of me from now on. But I feel like just give me a little taste, and maybe the next project still using a little bit of the influence from the EP, but trying different stuff. It gives me room to experiment, and that's what I would definitely want to be able to do, because I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in one lane. You know, where people are like, oh, she's clearly this artist. Like, I don't know yet. Like, let me figure, like, I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Like, so
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't really relate to this project per se, but you said you have 30 tracks, and like you're trying, like for the next project, for example, and you want to get it down to 12, right? How do you, when going through that process, are you like thinking about what's going to resonate more with the listeners, or what you gravitate to the most?
So that's another thing I like battle within myself, because as an artist, like I want to be able to make money off of my music. You know, I need to. I'm gonna be able to eat, right? I know. Right? How dare I?
You want to pay bills?
But the thing is, like I spent like a lot of the past few years just not thinking I should be allowed to. They're not necessarily thinking I shouldn't be allowed to, but almost like looking at like, I don't want my art to be touched, like to be connected with the monetary, you know? But now that I moved to New York and I'm poor and I'm like broke, I'm like, okay, I definitely need to be making some money. So moving forward, you know, I also now I'm working, like my brother is managing me and I'm releasing music under his label. And so now I have someone to consult with also and be like, okay, we need to consider the audience, you know, because that's not something that what I'm doing at the root of it, when I'm writing the very song, like the rough draft, I will not be considering my audience, because I want it to be as authentic at its core and stick the integrity to be there at its core. Then as I go through the process of recording and consulting with like different producers and my brother, we can see what can be changed a little bit to maybe fit, you know, what people seem to be listening to more. Like say when I release the EP, if I have more listeners for Lift You Up, I'm gonna consider that, okay, people like this sound a little bit more, so maybe we can use a little bit more of the sound in some of the tracks.
Yeah.
But right now, like the writing process, I'm thinking only about coming from like me, because I want it to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah. That's good though, because like, you see like as artists grow, like if they have like one song or one sound that really pops, then they feel like they have to keep doing it and keep chasing that same sound. It's just like, you ain't gonna never replicate that.
Right.
Or if you do, then it's like, wow, you did it. But like for the most part, the odds are higher that you're not gonna replicate that sound. And what people saw in that one song, they're not gonna see in the following song.
Yeah, that's very true.
And secondly, you also just mentioned how like you're still trying to find your own sound and like, you know, show people who you are and not necessarily be relegated to one sound. So you just, you know, experiment every now and then and giving them this and giving them that, and you know, no one locks you into a box and says this is what you are. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that, you know, that also gives me more room to be myself too. Yeah. You know, which is that's a big thing for me. I'm like, as long as I don't have to pretend or you know, try to fit into a certain look or anything like that, I'm fine. Like, I'll try, I'll experiment as long as I feel comfortable and I feel like it is, you know, genuine. Because I feel like as an artist, it's important to be genuine. Like I'm drawn to authenticity. Like when an artist is super authentic, I'm more drawn to it where it's like, okay, this is like, it's almost like as a listener, you can almost tell when someone's not being themselves. Like it's like almost a subconscious thing. I feel like when I'm turned off by something, I'm like, I bet you this person is trying to sound like this, you know?
Yeah.
For me, that's been the experience, and so I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to stay true, so.
Do you have any more songs recorded? Because how will you know your voice if it's just paper, it's just words on paper?
Well, I mean, there's like demoed. The songs are demoed. Yeah, I always demo the songs. So the songs, once they're fully like written on paper, and then I have like, you know, the actual music arranged to it on my guitar or piano. I have a couple on piano. I immediately go demo it. Just through this little recording equipment, like with my friends, and well, I just demoed a song recently actually with another friend here in New York, and it gives another perspective to be able to actually hear it. Yeah. You know, and I have voice memos on my phone of me demoing too, so that definitely. But like I said, it's hard to really like go through the recording process without always thinking back of what you can do. Like having that reference track, like you have to have that for me before I ever go into a studio.
So does Drake.
I was waiting for that.
My apologies.
You guys know how I feel about it.
I know, but I'm sorry.
KOD came out here.
Nothing.
How's Drake doing?
He's alright.
Scorpion, yeah.
He's Scorpion.
Wait, is that the name of his next project?
Yeah, we don't want to discuss that. We don't want to discuss that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that sounds very sassy. But anyway, someone would ask you that. No, it's back.
Wait, you were gonna ask too.
Yeah,
Did I answer your question? I feel like
yeah, but just in relation to the EP, so you knew from those 4 demo tracks that these would definitely be the ones from the way they sounded, even before you connected with a producer and got the beats?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I had a couple other songs, I was like, they're not where I need them to be. You know, they're not where I need them to be, but by the time the end of like the EP, like once I was done actually recording it, like how I came up with like giving the title track Lift You Up was like, I was like, okay, I have these 4 songs that I know for sure I want to release, you know, as a representation of my first project. But what is the main theme for me? You know, like obviously I'm connecting to each of these songs. And the main theme was that, like it was like, this is like uplifting. Like these songs the writing of these songs have gotten me out of some dark places. And so that's why I named the title track Lift You Up.
Got you.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy writing or singing?
Oh, beat me to it.
That's a good
That's what
question.
I do.
I love to sing. I love to sing. Honestly, y'all funny. Writing for me is, like I said, it's such a form of expression. Like, as like just journaling, you know, I'll journal, like, and I'll feel better, you know, getting something off my chest. But, like, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm a vocalist first, and then I'm a songwriter. But, I mean, I'm always writing songs, so it's neck and neck. But I've always been singing, and I love to sing, so.
Go ahead, no.
What's your process when you hear beats? Like, do you hear a beat and then you reference one of your demo tracks, like, oh, this would fit?
Oh no, so the process is I have the song written with my guitar. Like, for example, Lift You Up, I wrote it with my guitar. And I went to the studio and I played it for the producer. And I sent him a track that I felt, not a track, like I sent him a, like, you know that one song, it's actually, so wake me up when it's on.
Oh, yeah.
So that song, the acoustic version of it, has a little bit of the drums in it. And I found that track and I was like, this is the vibe I want for my Lift You Up song. So I bring that to the producer and I say, these are the drums I like. And I like this type of bass line, and I think it needs to have this type of padding. And he does it. That's why it's co-produced, is because I'm coming to them with ideas for the track. I always, like, sad song, and it's usually the drums that I know how I want to sound. Like, sad song, I told my producer Ryan, I was like, the drums need to be, like, driving in the chorus. Like, it needs to change, and it definitely changes the energy of what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't even know how to fucking play drums. I just feel, when I listen to music.
So what was the reference on that one?
So the reference for that, we actually had a couple, and it was an Adele song. I think it was Send My Love to that song. And then I'm trying to remember what the other one was, because I had to. I don't remember what the other one was, but he came up with some, like, cool, unique ideas. Like, and he's a drummer, so, like, for him, it was like, okay, he had to experiment. But that song definitely was, we had an Adele, and I cannot remember. It wasn't like an Ed Sheeran song. I don't remember, but that's usually the process. Is I'll take the ideas to the producer out because I don't know how to. Like I know how to use Logic and Pro Tools, all the production elements, but I'm not like that's not my strength, you know. And it's not something I've devoted any time to, you know, becoming very good at. And so I leave that to the professionals. And I just am like I know how to speak the language to be like okay, you know. This is where I want different padding and, you know, the energy to change. Like, I have a vision for how I want the song to sound at the end. And so I explain to the producers and they do it. Yeah.
Sounds like a good life.
I mean, they get to, and that's something I do like, I always tell them, is to also try their own stuff too. Like if they hear something in the song, like Lift You Up, like he was like, this should be faster. It was his idea to make it faster. Or else the song would have definitely been a little slower. And so I like that. Like I let them, you know, it's teamwork and it's you know, it's working with somebody. And so I let them sprinkle their little thing in there too. That way.
You don't get mad? You don't throw stuff around the studio?
No. I look forward to it. I always look forward to see like the surprise. Like if it's I remember when I recorded Sad Song and the producer, he had a hard time, like he was like, okay, he had the reference tracks for the drums. Like he knew the ideas that I wanted. He's like, man, I cannot think of anything. Like a couple weeks went by and he called me. He's like, Antonia, I've been working on this, but like, I can't think of anything unique because I told him I wanted some sort of something little like ear candy. To me, it's ear candy when a little bit of like drum sounds different or bass, or even adding a little electric guitar. And then like a couple weeks later, he called me like, I came up with something, please. And so I went in, I didn't know what it was gonna sound like, and I just sat there and I was like, it's perfect. It fit so perfectly. I don't even really know how to describe the feeling. It was just like, this is it. Yeah. So that's usually how it's done.
You really enjoyed that.
I love the process. I do.
I love the giddy look.
Yeah, like cool. I love the process. Working with the producers and experimenting and seeing where it's gonna go, and like even though I do come with ideas, I try not to be married to them. That's another thing, is like as an artist, is like once something's done, it's like you have to let it go, like because if I get too attached, nothing will ever get it. The way I am is nothing will come out, like nothing will ever get released, because it'll be like, no, this should be like this, or this needs to be like this, like perfection. And really it's about letting shit go. Yeah, it's like letting the song be what it is and then releasing it and just being like, okay, this is no longer in my control.
Yeah. Have you noticed any change in your writing and or your sound in the past? Or how long you've been living in New York City?
Yeah, I feel like my writing actually I feel is leaning more towards R&B. Like it's leaning less from the pop. Like, cause I am pop influenced. When I say pop, I'm saying pop like when I grew up, I listened to a lot of Mariah Carey. That's technically pop music. She was like R&B pop, you know, like Whitney Houston was classified as pop for the first half of her career, you know, like so. I have a lot of those like chord influences where I literally am like writing in a certain like chord progression that you'll hear in standard singer-songwriter pop recordings. And so what I've started doing ever since I moved to New York is trying to become a better musician. Is I've been trying different chord progressions, and in doing that, I'm finding different R&B chords, and I'm like, okay, this sounds more like R&B song. So now I'm writing a little bit more into that. But like as far as like the actual sound of what my next project is gonna be, I definitely feel like it's gonna be a little different. But I just don't know what yet. I haven't delved deep enough. I just know like my writing and the actual like voicing and like style is gonna be a little bit different. And like my writing is a little different too because I focus more also, like I don't just passively write, like I'm really trying to become a better writer. So I read, like I've been reading books, like random books, like right now this is gonna sound really nerdy, but I'm reading a book on equality in writing, and it's literally these essays that analyze how equality is framed within like the context of writing since like the Bible. And it like analyzes like the Bible, Greek history, like every piece of writing you can think of that has been like a big thing that we've learned in like school and stuff. It analyzes how equality is framed within that. So I'm even trying to draw influence from that. Like I'm like, how can I write about something like this? You know, so my writing is more focused now. It's not just like, how do I feel? You know, like I'm like thinking like, okay, how can I relate this to how I feel? You know, I'm trying to look and connect more and connect dots of what I'm observing.
Do you have any particular writing exercises you do? Like I heard people like, it's kind of whack, but Logic had like how he kind of makes his song. I don't know. Logic
Wait, what did he say?
But he's like mumble rapping, and he's like when he gives a beat, he'll be like, he'll like say certain words, and then the end of the line, he'll write down those words and try to like formulate lines with those words. It'll be like backyard, sat hard, like act hard. I don't know. So and then he basically like adds it in.
This shit was almost fire.
Right. Okay.
We try it.
No, I don't. Right now, I don't have like a straight process. It's really just like thinking of like if I'll see something that makes me think of something to write about. Like the other day, what did I think about? It was like show me like something about like showing like taking a veil off and showing yourself, you know, to someone. So I'm trying to write literally like 4 lines about that. So I almost am writing like in a poem type of way.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I'll write lyrically, is I'll write the poems out and then I won't go back and look, I won't revisit it. It'll literally be 4 lines. And then when I go to the guitar in like a couple days and just play around with chord progressions, I'll be like, and I'll come up with a melody, I'll go back and look at what I wrote. And I'll be like, oh, maybe I can use these 4 lines that I wrote on the subway. And I'll try to apply it and then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I wish it was, I haven't found a process yet. Like nothing that has been like, I think it's gonna take some time for
It's
me.
gonna come in your own time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it seems
What's
like.
your rollout plan for this? You got some shows popping up or?
Yeah, so I actually have a show on Monday that is gonna be in Queens. That's like a EP celebration type show. That's also at just like a regular show. That is a 2-hour long show. So we're like performing. I have a guitar player coming with me. We're gonna just perform songs from the EP, but also we have like a whole set list of covers that we're doing. And so I'm using that as the EP like release show. And then I have another show at Rockwood Music Hall in a couple weeks as well.
Where is that?
That is in Lower East Side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have any Brooklyn
What day of the
shows
week?
yet. That's on a Friday.
Okay, I might be able to attend that.
Yeah, and that one's actually gonna be really, really
You
cool.
can't do no Mondays.
Yeah, the Monday show is like,
Just kidding.
that's the show that we're doing because we getting the money.
Nah,
so we
you gotta get your money.
Yeah.
See me in the stand support.
Yeah, so as far as like rolling out like for the EP, my focus when I decided like on the release date was to just have really good, clean promo. Like I didn't want to do, like I originally was gonna do a listening event. Like I was thinking of doing like a private listening event, but I wanted it to be very intimate, like on like a nice like a nice apartment space or something like that. But the closer we got to it, I was like, okay, I don't have a bunch of. I'm new to New York still technically. So for me, I was like, should I invest this money in a private listening event, which I don't know how many people are actually going to be able to come, or should I put it towards press? You know, and so I decided to put money towards
the event.
Press and not the event. We're not going to listen to Ryan. Ryan was busy videoing, so a little unfocused.
Makes sense.
The event. Finish my sentence, but no, not the event. Towards press. So like we're working on getting, you know, just getting like some good promo out there. Like I'm hoping for something this week, you know, to premiere this week. If not next week for sure. And then like I said, just really like clean. Like I wanted to practice some streamlining my promotion, and I designed all the promo for myself. And so I wanted it to be like clean branding, like, you know, so I'm working on like getting like some animation up and like other things like that. So that's my main focus for like rolling out the EP. It was like branding.
What do you want the listener to take from the EP?
I want the listener, well,
if
anything, I would like for them to feel inspired. Like when I played Lit You Up and you're like, oh, that was supposed to be inspiring. Yes, that made me happy. I was like, okay, cool. That overall, I would like that. And even just if it's coming from the EP being like, oh my God, I felt like that before. You know, that is another thing. Like if that's what they take from it is a way to relate to what I'm singing, then I'm satisfied.
Alright. We got you here for a little while.
Okay, how much longer? Okay.
Nah, I'm just wondering. Like, what do you look like? No, because like, you've been here before.
Yeah.
So we ran through the EP. I think everyone has a basic understanding of that.
Yeah.
You just ask you some regular everyday
let's
questions
talk.
now. Yeah, let's just have a conversation. What you listening to nowadays?
I have a feeling you guys are gonna ask this. So what did I like listen to today? I'm the type of person that listens to one song for like a week.
And what's that one song?
This is almost embarrassing. So it's 2 songs this week so far.
So you just lied on
That's what I'm
Okay, so I lied. That's why
Nice.
it's embarrassing. But also this week so far it's 2. So did y'all watch the Beyonce Coachella performance at all?
No.
Well, I only say this because she had a dance break during her performance to a song that I really like, that I have liked for a while, but now I'm like, oh, now everybody's gonna be dancing to this because Beyonce danced to this.
That did it to the money.
Yes.
Who?
OT Genesis or something? You ain't never heard of that?
I know who OT
Mad.
Genesis is, but
You ain't heard that song?
I've heard
Everybody
2 tracks
mad.
again.
I've been
Cut
getting
it
too much
and
money.
Is it
Everybody
new?
mad. Well, the thing is, it's not new, but now it's like, it's showing, like, it's got a new life because Beyonce did some routine to it. Yeah, bless him. And like, so that song, I love that song. And another song I've been listening to, this is way more embarrassing, and I don't know if you guys are gonna know this. But it's old. It's from like 97, and it's called Bitch. That's the name of it.
It's called Bitch?
Yes, and it was popping.
By who?
Her name is Meredith Brooks. It's like a rock. It's like, I'm a bitch, I'm a
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Jarel.
That's all I got.
So
How
I've
did
been
you
listening to that.
rediscover?
I didn't know the name of the song.
So here's the thing, like when I was little, my mom would play that shit, and I remember being like, okay, what the fuck is this, right? But like this girl at work was also a writer, she was singing it, and I was like, oh my God, that used to be a bop. So I went back and like listened to it and went into like a deep hole of like watching her live performances, figuring out if she had any other hits out, but also like that song I feel like it could have a new life right now with like the Me Too movement and stuff, because I'm like, it was kind of like for its time, like the shit she's saying is like, women I feel like would really dig this message today. Like they would probably feel even more empowered to be singing that song. And so I've been listening to like, this is like the chorus hits, like it's just a really catchy song. So that's been what I've been listening to, at least for the past 4 or 5.
That's
Respect.
TRL track.
Have you heard anything released in 2018?
We had this conversation.
Nice, Kevin.
But Kevin, we had this conversation last time. I feel like you were like, "Do you listen to anything like new artists?"
Like
So
Drake.
I did. I tried. I haven't listened to Drake's new song. I know he put a song out, right?
You got one assignment when you leave.
What's it called?
You want
Nice
nice bag?
boy.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I
you got
haven't
a
listened
song?
to it yet.
He catered it for women.
It's playing everywhere.
I haven't heard it. Like they don't. It doesn't pop up on any suggestions for
How
me.
many miles of radius is in Brooklyn we tried to cover to get that song?
So no.
That's a difference.
Okay, so I haven't listened to him, but I'm going to. I'm going to listen to J. Cole.
That's all.
But I already am planning on doing that like this week.
Have you
It's
heard
already
God's
on my-
Plan?
What?
Have you heard God's Plan?
Oh,
That's a lie.
Another
That's a
Drake
lie.
song.
You heard God's
When did
plan.
you
Do you
think
know
that?
I thought you been talking.
Do you
No, and I was thinking this earlier. I'm like, damn, I am not cool because people be asking me what I listen to. I'm
What's
like,
going on?
She's listening to
Yeah, they
Big.
gotta be cool to hear these songs.
I'm over
You
here
know,
listening to
like,
97 or
Yeah,
90.
she's stuck.
You're
Spotify's
97.
playlist is stuck in the 90s.
So your rate you'll hear it in like 2038.
Yeah,
And then-
I did listen to 1 or 2 of Cardi B's songs from her new album.
Alright, DX on
Cool.
Big in Head?
Big in Head.
Listen to Big in Head?
No, I listened to that "Care for Me" or "Care" or
Be careful.
yeah, that song, and then I listened to the Drip song. And the only reason I listened to that was because I was walking from the coffee shop in Harlem and someone was blaring it,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" So I googled Drip. And
Wait, you live in Harlem and no one played a Drake song?
That's why I say it's a it's
honestly,
like
and where I'm at, people are always playing Cardi B, like all the time. I'm always hearing
That
her.
is true. They were blasting Cardi B. She lives near my aunt.
Where, West?
140. Well, my aunt lives on.
Don't tell us.
New music
Drake.
making up there?
West Harlem. West Harlem, like Adam Clayton, Lennox, Malcolm X.
I didn't
That's
know.
more central.
Just this week, I done heard the J. Cole cuts. I heard 3 different J. Cole cuts. God's Plan, Nice for
Where do
What.
you guys hear these at?
And this is just me walking in the
Everywhere.
streets in Brooklyn.
See, maybe it's because I have my headphones in.
They've been playing Jim
You
Jones.
can hear this shit through your headphones.
I don't know. I haven't really been hearing.
You use Spotify?
We'll give you a list.
I
We got an EP for you.
I-
You got more songs
Yeah,
than you
the full
to
time
listen
mix.
Yes, please send me. I like new music, but no, I haven't.
to.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's very. I don't know. And I think this. I'm like I am in my own bubble.
Listen, the summertime is coming up. You gotta catch up.
Yeah.
I
You only
know,
that
I'm
one
very
person
behind.
that
You get over at the bar, don't know what the hell's playing.
just like, you
I
know
feel like I'm
that.
gonna be like, I don't like.
Everyone else like,
this.
oh,
They say word by word, you mumbling on. You know that
everyone rapping in a circle. And she's like,
Wait, has J. Cole been playing like what is like the top song from the EP? Or his
commercial
album?
wise?
Yeah, like what is
Like
like? Is
commercially?
there any
He dropped
song?
2 videos already.
Oh, he did? Yeah, I'm out of the loop. I try not to be on
What's
social media.
ATM, right?
ATM is probably like the most
That's a catchy
commercial, yeah.
What is your favorite ones that you guys would like listen to Antonia? Give me one.
Well, I don't know if you're in a rap or more melodic. What do you-
Yeah.
I mean, that's even one. I mean, I like.
My favorite is
Genesis.
Window Pane.
Window pane. Okay, window pane.
I agree.
So I will put actually
It depends.
while I
ATM's good.
Got a couple I've been running through.
putting it on my Apple Music right now.
Made a video for Kevin's Heart too.
That's just fire.
That shit is
that
fire.
is real. His visuals are
Yeah.
good.
That was dope.
So window pane.
Yeah, next time you're on a what? You go to a YouTube black hole, you said?
It's 12 tracks. Just run through it.
Yeah.
Window pane. The outro. The outro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You might
1985 is fire too.
That shit is fire.
We're gonna end up giving you the whole album. The album
Yeah.
is really good.
I'll just take.
Except for the intro.
I fuck with brackets.
Brackets.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I will.
Once an
listen to.
Addict is my shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
one at a time.
It's some dark cuts of it, but they nice. and
So
stuff.
brackets, 1985.
All
Just
of
go to
them.
Yeah,
K.O.D.
Once an
album.
Addict too.
All of them.
You typing each song individually?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Really all living like it's 97. Type in J. Cole.
Well, I want to download this whole album and then see it sitting there.
Download it.
Or whatever, you
Apple
know.
Music.
That's what I put it on.
Yeah, when you download it and listen on the subway.
What other regular questions y'all got for me?
I don't know anymore.
How the vibes in New York been treating you?
Ooh.
Good.
You know, 8 months. How long you in now since Detroit?
Like a bad taste in your mouth.
8 months. Are you okay?
I don't know.
She didn't listen to Drake. She over here
I
typing
know.
single songs.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Black Panther soundtrack?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see
the movie?
Everybody here Kendrick. But no,
Have you
my
seen the
goodness.
movie?
Stay cool. You can leave.
Have you seen the movie?
I
Of course
haven't
they
seen
listen
the
to
movie yet.
Kendrick.
You truly
But I have a reason why. I don't go to movie theaters.
You don't do nothing.
love it.
You don't watch
I work at a
don't
coffee
go to
shop and I
movies.
sleep
No,
in the
I don't work
studio.
at a coffee shop no more.
Oh,
I
my
work
bad.
at
A
a
restaurant.
I work at the cutting room.
Oh.
What's that?
It's off of 32nd and Park.
Ooh.
No.
No.
What's
But
your
I
discount
work
looking
there.
like?
Like I literally just got done working like doubles for the past 5
What's your
days.
discount looking like?
My discount?
If I run through, you gonna give me a discount on a steak?
I can't. I'm not gonna say it on the
Okay,
record.
alright.
We were just joking anyway.
Right,
That's
we're
cool.
totally joking.
So Friday, 8.
Totally joking.
Yeah,
You
we're
don't-
joking.
Damn, man, you really
There's
got
a lot.
I know. There's a lot
It's
of
only
movies.
8
I don't do movie theaters.
Why not?
I fall asleep. The last movie I went to go see a movie on Christmas with my brother. We went to see Star Wars. That movie, the one that came out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not my cup of tea.
I fell asleep within 2 minutes, and I woke up when they're clapping.
Did you go in tired?
Just the darkness and the seat.
Comfy chair.
Yeah, like
Go
in
to
it.
the new recliner seats. They
The last
Yeah.
time I didn't fall asleep in a movie
So I don't
was when
drink
I
in
saw
the
Get
theaters.
Out. Get Out kept me awake because it was scary. Like scary movies keep me awake.
A Black Panther is just like action.
I know everyone is like, you gotta see it, and I'm gonna see it.
It comes out on DVD.
Is it even in theaters?
Next week?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Then I'll just.
Oh, I don't
I give you a recommendation.
Yeah, after
off
Avengers.
camera, I can give you a recommendation.
Thank you. I don't know what you're referring to right now.
No, nothing.
Do you have any new shows? You don't watch TV.
You guys are
You
making
work
me
7
sound
days
so
a week.
lame.
You work 6
No,
and
we
then
just trying to get to know you a little.
Yeah, but you're asking me this question, but my answer's about to be even lamer. I'm gonna answer your question real quick, then I'm gonna come back to that. Do I work 7 days a week? No. But when I do have days off, which is usually like 2 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
they're devoted to like music and like running around. Like tomorrow I have rehearsal all day for the show on Monday. And then Thursday I have rehearsal all day for the show I have in May. And then I have 2 events I have to go to at night. And Friday is technically my first day off. And I was gonna go out and celebrate the EP.
Ooh.
Hey.
Hopefully they listen
I haven't even been
Just
out
hydrate,
in New
beloved.
York. I know that I've been drinking so much.
Hydrate.
I haven't even been out in New York like that yet. I haven't been out.
It ain't gonna be fun because you don't know none of the music.
I'm
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, you guys are gonna hate my answer. Do I watch
This
TV?
new?
What do you mean?
Do you watch shows?
Netflix.
I watch
Atlanta.
Netflix. I haven't seen the second season of Atlanta.
What's popular on Netflix right now for you?
Okay, let me explain myself.
Oh,
because
shit.
You guys are not gonna like this
It's
answer.
an old movie from 1987. Dirty Dancing.
No, I
I've
hate
been
that
watching
movie.
Made in Manhattan like nonstop.
I just saw this new movie.
So I watch one show on Netflix. Actually, no, the most recent show I
It's gonna be
watched,
good.
which is actually funny as fuck, that you guys all need to watch, it was called Nailed It. Have you heard of it?
Damn, it sounds bad already.
It is funny though.
How
Like
old
just
is this show?
What's the
it's
concept?
new. It's new. So the concept is, have you heard? Okay, so y'all probably aren't a part of this because I mean you're guys, not to like stereotype you, but in like for Pinterest, like people will try recipes that they see on Pinterest and then they'll post how they made it and it'll look terrible, like it won't look anything. And so they always hashtag nailed it. So there's a TV show on Netflix that Netflix put out called Nailed It, where they're bringing up regular, smegular people onto the show and having them bake these extravagant cakes. And so it's showing them fucking up these cakes. And it's hilarious. It
sounds funny.
is so fucking funny. And they had a Donald Trump cake. And just Google the Donald Trump cake and you'll see it. And the way these people did him was so fucking funny. But anyways, that was the most recent thing I watched. But other than that, I consistently and only watch one show, and it's called The Office. Other than that, I don't watch anything.
Why'd you say like you don't know what the office
Because
is?
it's
about to
lame.
Office
It's
every
all
night
I
before I go to
watch.
sleep.
It's
Oh,
all
no, you got a
I
lot
watch.
of love for that.
No.
People love the love.
You know what that boss be on? Yeah.
Y'all been calling me this whole time.
No, this past weekend when Don, the weekend before, that's when Don was like, oh yeah, Cody out in Brooklyn. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Who said that?
We got a friend of ours from. I guess I've never been.
No, he thought there was a Coney Island in Brooklyn and one in Queens. So he kept specifying, yeah, I went out to Coney Island, Brooklyn. And I was like, the first time I let it rock. kept
I
saying,
heard it too.
He's not from here?
he is. He just kept saying, yeah, Coney Island, Brooklyn. And I was like, why you keep saying it like that? Like, he was like, because there's one in Queens too. And
I was like,
damn.
please point that out to me.
But when you just said the office like that,
Oh, that's
as if it's
funny.
not a regularly known.
Well, I know it's known, but it's not new because y'all are like.
Now, The Office is a classic.
It's
You can
all
start
that.
with that
It's,
one.
I love that show. It makes me. It's so funny. I have it memorized.
I've been watching The Office. Well, I don't watch Office anymore, but I watched The Office and like Parks and Rec. Those like the old
Yeah,
shows
Parks and Rec.
that I watch on there. But you gotta get on that 7 seconds. It's kind of sad. You might like
7
it.
seconds. I don't like watching sad things.
This is a good sad show.
You might make a song or two.
People keep trying to get me to watch this one show called For Us or something about us.
This is us.
This is us.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, you gotta watch
I
that.
hear that one sad.
It is good. The second season is in the seventh.
It start falling off after.
I do
You
like
did
watching Insecure and Game of Thrones when they're out. Those are
Insecure?
Major points. Major points.
Yeah,
Insecure
Game
is
of
great.
Thrones, Insecure. I always.
What about Power?
No, I don't watch Power.
Have you seen an episode?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't seen one either.
I haven't seen one. I don't.
Kev, you got an assignment.
What is it about?
Drugs.
See that I don't like.
It's not about drugs. First of all, it's about Jamie.
Family.
Right? Family. And basically, he's like this old drug dealer. Well, in the show started, he is a drug dealer. But then he starts opening these clubs, and he realizes he wants to get out the drug game because he really is really good. He's really good at, running these clubs and entrepreneurship. It's just about that balance that he's trying to find and trying to get himself 100% out of the drug game. But then somehow he finds himself back in it at all times.
Okay.
But it's great.
I guess.
Omari, what's that name?
Omarion?
Omari Harden?
Oh, I thought you said
You
Omarion.
think he attractive?
I don't think I know who that is.
He about half naked every time.
Wait,
I like
is he
it.
in Being Mary Jane?
No, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's with Gabrielle and my mom.
Yeah.
My mom be watching that.
That show I watched too. I like that show.
Wow.
So I guess Being Mary Jane, Insecure, The Office, and Game of Thrones are like the 4 shows I've
they fuck with
actually
Game of
sat
Thrones.
down and
Oh,
watched.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones is. Listen, I'm on the
That
same
show on
page.
television today.
Yeah, no.
I
watched
am
the
ready
episode.
to get HBO back. I'm so ready.
I never
Cancel my
lost it.
subscription, but I cancel it only to watch. I redo it just to watch the show.
Really? Is it that good?
Yeah.
It's the main.
I watched first episode, season 1.
You got to watch
I
it.
didn't do it.
Then draw me in.
You gotta watch the first 4 episodes.
You got to watch the first
That's
season.
4 hours. Remember how we just talking about artists and me jumping into things I don't know? I watched one episode. I said, this ain't drawing me in.
But you got to like continuously.
That's 4 hours.
Wait,
of
what is
time.
it right
It's
now? I
good.
heard Black Mirror is good.
Black Mirror is.
I don't. I'm afraid to watch that.
Atlanta season 2 is
Atlanta.
really
See, I haven't seen that yet, only because I need to get FX or whatever. I need to get.
Yeah, they had a very entertaining episode.
What is
You got the internet?
Wait, what are you saying?
How about
I'm
y'all
gonna
watch
talk
We
to
got
you.
to talk
I'm gonna talk to you
about
after this. I'm gonna talk to you after that.
I'm not gonna plug you in.
Okay.
I was dropping shit. Yeah. But yeah, somehow I see
Yeah,
everything.
FX now.
She like, that's how I got get HBO getting that one. I was like, I'm like, that's all. When you say you got get FX in it,
Okay, cool.
you subscribe to FX individually. I mean, we have to talk all wax.
Yeah.
Can't be paying for no FX now, but look.
We just all trying to make it.
Anyways,
Well, wait.
what up?
Are you gonna go to a modern spot when you go to celebrate? Where are you gonna go?
I actually don't know where to go. I want to go to Brooklyn. So I have 2
Actually,
friends that
don't
just
name a
moved
spot.
here.
This is being recorded. But you continue.
Okay, I won't name a spot maybe because I don't know, so it's
Okay.
fine. But I just had 2 friends that just moved here recently.
From
and
Detroit?
Yeah, from Detroit.
Hey.
And it's on. So like one of them lives
Uh-oh.
in Brooklyn. One of them moved right across the street from me in Harlem, and I didn't even know it. And so I'm gonna go to Brooklyn, but I just don't know where in Brooklyn to go. And my friends like we should go to Williamsburg, but I don't even know what that is or what that means.
Williamsburg is popping.
Okay, it is popular.
Williamsburg is
Okay.
popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a good time.
Yeah.
Depending on
We
you.
could definitely.
Any suggestions?
Well, depends what you're looking for.
I like to people watch.
With music on? Or you just wanna,
No!
You want a dive bar,
With
beloved? What you
music.
need? A shot of beer deal?
Beloved.
You us?
No.
I
Wow.
do a dive bar. I would do, but I don't think that's what is gonna happen.
You want music?
Yeah, I like music.
Or you got a
I
camera?
like the people watch.
I like to people watch
She
and
led
drink
with
and
that.
mind my business.
So wait, like, Kim, like, you want to be like around like people without music, or like?
No, not a lot of people. Chill. I can't do a lot of people. I'm like kind of an introvert. Like I don't like.
Oh. Hmm.
I have like
You want
social
affordable
anxiety.
drinks?
I want affordable.
I like combine two places for you. What, Kenvo gets really packed?
Yeah, at night, yeah. But I mean, she go to always, there's two Kinfolks.
These are
There's
all
Kinfolk 90 and
Williamsburg?
94.
Mhm.
90 is a little bit lighter.
These
It's
are
like-
in Williamsburg?
Yeah, Williamsburg. Where's Sweet Science? That was a pretty dope spot.
Yeah, East Williamsburg.
East Williamsburg, Sweet
Yeah.
Spot.
Yeah.
Sweet
That's
Science is
like,
like really nice and
mm-hmm.
quaint enough,
Mm.
but good music.
Nice decor.
Nice
Okay,
decor,
then maybe I'll
nice
do it.
little
Sweet
bar.
Science.
Sweet Science.
Science, okay.
Yeah, but they were playing some. Actually, no, you might
You
like
guys
it.
should
You might like it because they play some old shit there every now and then. Oh, I ain't going out this weekend.
Oh yeah, you're gonna, yeah.
I'm gonna hang out.
I got tickets for the new Avengers from like a month and a half ago.
Wait, there's no new Avengers?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for the
Better than
invite.
You're welcome.
But
No, you come out. Pittsburgh, get popping. Just
like the week after you wanna
yeah, maybe you know
Maybe
the week
next
after
week.
if you ever back in Brooklyn.
hit us up.
Okay.
But this upcoming
Mess your
weekend,
life up. Hit us up.
Give my life.
Yeah, I wanna see
Give my
what's,
life to the Lord. This
what's
this
fun.
upcoming week. Giving it to the Lord.
Amen.
Cool.
You got any lasting words?
No, I don't. I don't know what else
You gotta have
to say.
something.
Hmm.
Yo, my name is Tonia T.
I
I'm
listen to music from
5'6".
the 90s.
I'm light skinned. I'm out here. I'm single.
I'm 5'5".
My bad.
I'm
Yeah.
shorter than that. Come on.
Right. Come on, I'm not
Guess
5'6".
that is kind of insult.
That is like it's like
Yeah, she tall as fuck out.
yeah. I don't want people to think I'm a giant person.
She average height.
Right, I'm an average height woman. I'm single, yes. And I also am releasing my EP on Friday, the 27th,
Where they can find it.
on all streaming services. So Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Beats Music, Pandora. It'll
Wait,
be
Beats
Rap
Music?
Godfathers.
Beats or whatever, Beats One.
I didn't know that was a streaming service.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like radio, but
You don't
it'll be on
remember?
Beats Radio.
Beats came out with a streaming service that nobody fucked with at one point.
That's why I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Apparently, people fuck with it. Like it's all being distributed.
Is shit gonna be on Tidal?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be in Europe. It's gonna be in Australia. It's gonna be
Look at
Get
you.
your money.
You know me on SoundCloud?
SoundCloud. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on SoundCloud, but more so in order for me to get like streaming revenue, I'm just gonna do like maybe a couple minutes or like a first half. You know what I mean?
And
'Cause,
trick
like,
you.
yeah, like I don't want to get too many plays on SoundCloud and not get plays on.
Yeah.
You know my
You don't
You got
want
other
the-
them, you don't want them free plays.
I don't want them. I don't. So
Yeah.
you guys just keep hitting play even if you mute it. No, I'm kidding.
I'll download it. How does that work when you download it versus just listening to it flat out?
I think if you like download it via Apple Music, it still is like the same royalty payout. You know,
okay.
I don't think it is gonna. I think the only difference
I
is
think it
you
counts as
have
one
it.
sale.
There's one, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think when you
I hope
stream
so.
an individual song 1,500 times or so, that
it's like
counts
one
as a
sale
sale
or
as well.
something, and then
But if
download
you
it.
bought the whole thing, would count. I
See,
believe.
I don't know. I'll have to find that out.
Okay, because I mostly download shit.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't know too much about it. I just know like it's gonna be.
I'll give you a download Friday morning.
Yeah, that'll be very nice.
Then I'll send you a message and tell you what I think about it. I'm
Well,
sure.
you know, make sure you have your Kleenex.
Nah, I'm sure there'll be some good thoughts. You know, Friday commute.
Yeah. You sold it well. You sold it well.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Glad. I'm glad. I couldn't tell.
That was a
Yeah.
good
Okay.
time.
Lift You Up EP dropping on Friday.
Yes.
This Friday.
Yes.
Tell them get it.
Make the streets hot.
So when's your show at Rockwood?
So the show at Rockwood is May 18th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's a Friday, so it's a couple
Yeah, okay.
weeks. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's
give you
some
some time. I'll
I
be
feel like
promoting
warm
it.
temperatures, I'm already feeling that.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice, and it'll be later too.
Alright, I'll commit today. I'll commit tonight then.
Yeah, it'll be like I think
How much are your
it's
tickets?
$10.
Yo, Kev is on it.
You
Yeah.
got it.
And it's me and two, like we're splitting the bill, so we each are getting 30-minute sets. Me and two other girls, and they're very great.
What's the name of the venue again?
Rockwood Music
Okay, I'll
Hall.
do my Yelps on the way home.
That's a
Hey,
little
Rockwood
bit
is a
south
big,
front,
is
okay.
a.
That's cool. Not too far from
Yeah.
Brooklyn. That's what I really care about.
Yeah, it's in
I
the
can
other
change the
side.
clothes in my bag. All right.
I
Yeah.
care about my
Be a
computer.
little hip.
And $10. Alright, cool. We'll
Oh
be
yeah,
there.
word, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
bring
be
friends.
I'll commit.
Tell people.
We gonna drop this track on this or not? Or you want
Yeah.
to snip it?
I did bring my guitar. I didn't know if you guys wanted me to perform, but you can drop the track.
That's on you guys. When I say you guys, I just
Me?
mean you.
You and your
It's
guitar.
you and your representative in the guitar.
It's not fair. I mean, I don't know.
The world is yours, beloved.
We got the snippet.
Yeah, we can just do
You can do a
Okay.
snippet.
Just say, I don't want to really do this.
I said it into
She's
the
like,
mic.
you niggas been talking for an hour. My throat hurts. I don't want to talk.
Right, I got too much.
Alright, we about to drop a little snippet of Lift You Up at the end of this.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Thank you for coming through. As
Thank
always,
you. You guys
plug
are
your-
awesome.
plug
Oh
your
yeah, I
shit.
gotta plug everything. So if you want to connect with me on any social media, everything is under Tonia Music. It's TONIA Music, or visit me at toniamusic.com.
Man, what's how these motherfuckers gonna find you?
Yes.
She be roaming the streets this Friday in Brooklyn. so.
Yeah. She's at
Yes.
blackboommeet.com/Tonia.
shit.
Wait, maybe should I get on that? Like,
Christian Negro.
My
no.
mama on that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do
People
that.
in New York use dating apps.
Don't.
Tinder.
They do.
Oh,
But
they do.
don't do that to
Don't do
yourself.
Tinder.
But what are you looking for?
Real quick though.
My
My mom thought she was cute. She was like, yeah, I met him on BPM. I said, excuse me?
BPM.
BPM.
What is that? Oh yeah,
Black
like
me because she was cool as fuck. I had to let her rock out with that one. Love you, mama.
Aw.
Anyway, as always, thank you for checking out the podcast. Make sure you check out Tonia's EP on Friday. So this is dropping Thursday. So,
Mixtape drop.
so
Yes.
the next day, check out the EP early in the morning. You know, let us know your thoughts. We're gonna keep promoting all the stuff. Make sure to check out the YouTube page. We're gonna have all the
Yeah.
episodes on the YouTube page. Gonna be building a website. Gonna have some merchandise coming soon. Just make sure you guys are checking out for everything. As always, this is Coolin' Out.
Stay cool.
Good
We're gonna end
job,
on
guys.
Tonia Music.
You guys